So if I ask you to assess Nigeria, I mean his performance in the last 1 year, Tinubu.
You
Prof, is it a larger matter?
No. The reason I'm saying is that I've talked about this, then I'm really fed up.
We are still in the spirit of a Democracy Day celebration.
Okay. So they wanted to celebrate their 1 year anniversary of the regime.
He did his last week. The military are doing theirs.
They wanted
today
to celebrate their 1 year, but there was honestly nothing to celebrate.
How do you mean?
Because the 1 year, what it has done for us, and I've said it again and again, I've written, all we've seen is a government of deception, destitution, and hopelessness. Their renewed hope agenda has turned into nothing but made people hopeless in this country, right? So they latched on to what is the next thing they can celebrate? Oh, Democracy Day, June 12th. Or they make a big hoopla and they want to sanitize history and give the impression to those who do not know. When I came back from the United States, what I realized that we don't teach history to our children. So anybody who is, May 12 was 31 years ago. Anybody who is less than 30 from their celebration would think democracy in Nigeria started that time.
Yeah, June 12.
Yeah, but this is
1993.
No, but this is sanitizing history, for goodness sake.
It's not the truth.
Look, we lost a prime minister. We lost premiers. We lost several military officers. We went to school with many of their children. The first prime minister of this country in our republic.
Tafawa Balewa.
Yes. We lost Sadana, we lost Abogo Largema, we lost Memalari, we lost Kuru Muhammad. We went to school with many of their children. That was democracy. That was truncated by the military. And the first executive president in this country, President Shagari, was overthrown by the military. And Umaru Dikko was put in a crate in London to be brought back here by the military. Don't tell us that democracy in Nigeria started June 12th.
But who do you blame? Is it Tinubu?
No. What we are saying, and it's just like what Governor Lamido put it, Governor Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa, said it. June 12th was a national, cohesive voice, a Nigerian voice. Abiola beat late Bashir Tofa from Kano. That was the first time a Southerner won an election, fair and square. And he said, the Nadeko element only took the story after that. He said, they fought for Abiola to win that election all over this country. And it is Nigerians from all over, from Abia to Zamfara, that voted for him. So for you to sanitize this and just bring the names of a few people and say they are this, is doing disservice to Nigerians, is doing disservice to the democracy in Nigeria. People have died.
So you believe that
so that was, he was just looking, no, he was just looking
well crafted.
No, he was just looking for something.
Okay, I will ask you more questions on this, Prof, but we'll go on a short break. Yes, viewers, don't go far. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. If you are just joining, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. We still have Professor Yusuf in the studio. We are discussing ending insecurity and state of the nation. You are questioning the Democracy Day celebration before we went on break. But many believe that it is not Tinubu who said June 12 should be Democracy Day. Of course, transition was, May 29. It was during the Buhari era. So will you now come and crucify Tinubu for celebrating the people he believed were the champions of June 12?
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, this is an APC thing, and he's APC.
Okay.
President Buhari changed it to June 12 just to pander to a certain constituency. That's all I'm saying. Democracy in Nigeria, we've seen a lot of turbulence, we've seen a lot of death. We went to civil war for democracy. So don't sanitize history and give impression to the young people less than 30 that democracy in Nigeria started only 31 years. Many have been killed. Many have died. Millions have been killed in the fight for democracy, in the civil war. So let's honor them and let's not just pick a few and sanitize history.
The names he mentioned, not quite a number from the north. Do you think it's deliberate?
I don't know. I say this is the Nadeko agenda, and this is what Governor Sule Lamido is saying. And if you trivialize the significance of that the struggle of June 12th, which was in Nadekos, June 12th was a national thing. People were fed up with the military. People campaigned for late Abiola all over. And the campaign showed that he defeated somebody from Kano, the city, the town, the state with the largest population in the north. People voted for him. So let nobody just take it and trivialize it or sectionalize it or ethnicize it or... So you honestly trivialize it. It was bigger than what he was celebrating. It really was. And he should know better. I mean, as a president, you should elevate yourself. Allow them to, the Nadeko guys, to go and celebrate. People have died. I'm from Katsina, Eradua.
Will you call yourself as champions of democracy? Or Sule Lamido, do you think you should, forward himself as those who fought for the actualization of even the...
No, out here, people don't, celebration is not ours. Let what you do, let what you did in the past speak for you. Instead of coming and celebrate, oh, I did this, I did this, I did this. Please, it's not in us to be celebrating this. They needed something to celebrate because 1 year anniversary of their ascension into office, there was nothing to celebrate. So they grab onto the June 12th and just keep celebrating. Let's move on. We have better things to do. These guys are not are putting Nigeria in a ditch.
Okay, Bayo Onanuga decided heavily on New York Times following their article that Nigerians are worse off in the last 1 year. Where do you belong?
Hamza, where do I belong? What kind of question is this?
Yes.
Ask anybody. Ask anybody in this country, are they better off today than they were on May 28th, 2023? If you're not in government, and even the government way up there, everybody. Inflation today is at 40.66. Food inflation, 40.66. We just came back from home. Everybody back in the hinterland, there is hunger in the land. Been saying it again and again. You've written editorial, you've published. There is hunger in the land all across this country from Abia to Zamfara. What answers do our governors have? Oh, palliatives. All over. Well, in 3 months, you published it, you reported it. In 3 months, 30 governors in this country spent over 980 billion on their creature comfort when our people are dying back home. I took the liberty of asking my staff to do this. This is it.
Malnutrition?
This is malnutrition, this is marasmus. I have been saying, Daily Trust, you've been saying, all newspapers have been saying there is hunger in the land. This is what we are seeing in our hospitals. This is for mothers that can take their children to hospital. There are millions that are home. They cannot go to hospital. And it is not me alone. Medicine Sans Frontier, Doctors Without Borders raised this alarm. That the malnutrition in northern Nigeria they are seeing over the last couple of months is alarming. They are raising the alarm that there is severe malnutrition in the north. They are feeding centers. They are having to treat patients on the floor. We see this all over pediatric hospitals. Severe marasmus, as you would see in Sudan, as you would see in Yemen, as you see in Gaza Strip or Afghanistan. This is in Nigeria, the land of plenty, where the vice president built a house. They built a house of 21 billion for the vice president, where all of them are buying SUVs. Our children are malnourished. This is in the land of plenty. This is not, we are not at war and there is no drought. For goodness sake, I did this to prick the conscience of our people. How in good conscience can we allow this to happen in Nigeria when our leaders are living up? The president, all his cabinet, the members of the National Assembly and the governors, they do not show they care. Where are our governors in the north? They are all in Saudi Arabia telling God what I don't know. Our children, fellow Nigerians, do not close your eyes. This is where we are. Severe malnutrition in our children. And in pediatrics, we say the child is the barometer of the family. From the child, you can tell. You can tell.
So if the child is malnourished, definitely his mother is also...
The family. Many fathers...
Where are we getting it wrong, Professor? Because subsidy has been removed, you know, more money to subnationals. So where is actually the problem? Because
they do not care. The governors do not care. They think they answer all the money they are getting excess. What do they do with it? They give grains, cups of rice, cups of grains to the parents. Whereas the children are inside the house hungry. Hungry. This is Nigeria. This is not Sudan. This is not Afghanistan. This is not Yemen.
So who will talk to them?
Talk to who?
The governors, the president.
You and I, we are talking. They do not know this because they don't want to know. The president is in South Africa. Does the president know our children are marasmics like you see in war-torn countries? Do the governors care? They're all in Saudi Arabia doing God what I do not know. Where are the members of National Assembly? They don't go home. They get billions to buy SUVs.
Of course, the members of the National Assembly, they are about to pass into law the ban on open grazing. I mentioned this in the introductory part of the program, and I will have to ask you, what is your take on this bill to actually relocate farmers, I mean herders to...
So you see, what I see, and people need to open their eyes, especially in the north. They are throwing a lot of distractions in the north to distract people from their sufferings.
Okay, you think this...
Absolutely, this is a distraction, a cruel distraction too. Like changing the national anthem, talk about it. Like all these wars, fights, bandits fighting, Fulanis fighting everybody, or Boko Haram, to distract us. Even what you see in Kano. Even the tussle, the Emir's chief tussle.
Which you actually mentioned. I wanted to ask it as my last question.
The timing is suspect. It's just to distract Nigerians from their daily sufferings. We have this, and we're talking about celebrating a year, service chief celebrating a year, or the emirs are fighting themselves. We have this, nobody's talking about this. This is what we should be talking about in mosques, in churches, in palaces, in the parliaments, everywhere, in government houses, in the villa. How did we get here? And this is the beginning. Usually the peak season of malnutrition in this country is around July and August. When the food that was harvested before is finished, the next one hasn't come. Medicine Sans Frontier, Doctors Without Borders is saying, and has raised alarm, many more children are dying because of malnutrition in the north. And our governors are going around in big black SUVs. They are not going to tell Mr. President, they are not doing the right thing. The president say, oh, release food from silos to vulnerable Nigerians.
Do we have the food in the silos?
February,
do we have
the silos are empty.
So
and
it's deception.
This is all part of the deception. I've said it before, and I've written. You cannot run a country on deception. For goodness sake, our children are dying, and we're here deceiving ourselves, talking nonsense and drinking tea in Abuja.
As I ask the parliamentarians, they are about passing this law. Is it a recipe for another round of misunderstanding in the country? And what do you think should be done?
So where did the bill come? The person who passed the bill is from Benue. And this is just a replica of their anti-grazing bill in Benue. And what happened when Samuel Autumn passed it? There was bloodshed in the Benue. Benue has been the home of Fulanis grazing for generations and living together with thieves, with Idomas, with other things. For generations, long before these governors and these senators. Why do you want to bring this again? You want to inflame, and the federal government, and if you read the excerpt of the bill, you say, ranches should be built in states of the pastoralists, and in those states who do not have pastoralists as citizens, it should not be imposed on them. So we are saying a citizen does not have a right to go everywhere. So we need maturity, we need leadership, we need our representatives to represent us.
That is the question I wanted.
We need our representatives to represent us.
Do you blame him to have his way? This bill has passed through several readings.
And I'm telling the president and all the national security team, this will inflame national security in this country, just like it did in Benue. Just like it did in Benue. Somebody with sense needs to step in. For goodness sake, why is everybody? Like there is no adult. You just allow children to keep doing what they are doing. Everybody can just do what he's doing, inflame this thing. The president is all there, his eyes is off this thing, or you're buying Tucano jets when you can prevent things. For goodness sake. We have representatives. We have representatives in the assembly. Anybody can bring a bill. I can go and bring a bill and say, kill everybody, kill everybody. Well, that's my bill. But there are people we send to represent us, and we're watching them. They need to represent us. They need to represent us.
But they have to go with a solution. If you want to counter, an opinion, you have to bring a superior argument.
Look, with
maybe they have lost ideas.
No, look at this. With this, we're talking about ranching. For goodness sake.
Are you saying the cattle should be allowed to continue ruling?
No, our priorities are messed up.
Okay.
This is a national security. This is an urgency. This is an emergency. Medicine Sans Frontier, Doctors Without Borders is telling us this is an emergency. We are talking nonsense here in Abuja after they've gotten their SUVs.
Prof, maybe the final question I will ask, which you should answer in 1 minute. Partly, maybe responsible for this is the malnutrition among even civil servants, because what they earn trickles down everywhere. What will you say on the...
Good. So they said, if you look at this, and I was reading it from your publication, about 5.3 million Nigerian workers will benefit from this minimum wage. The last time it was increased was 2019 to 30,000. At that time, inflation was just 11-12%. Today, inflation is 33.6. 30,000 naira cannot buy you a bag of rice. So I wonder how workers honestly live. And these workers we have in this country, the 5.2 million, they carry those that are not working on their back. You go to Katsina, if they delay salary for a month, you think the whole town they're mourning.
So government should be serious, maybe in summary. Yeah,
look, they must be serious and give workers a living wage. 60,000 is not a living wage. 60,000 is not a living wage.
What will you recommend?
You give them 60,000, it cannot even buy you rice. Now, when patients come to us, doctors like this, we'll say go and eat protein. But poor people, we don't ask them to eat meat, fish, and all that. No. What is common man's protein? Common man's protein is beans.
And it's very expensive.
Akara and moi moi. How much is a bag of beans? Over 100,000.
Prof,
this is where we are.
Yeah, very sad, but I hope something will happen. Thank you very much, Professor Usman Yusuf, former Executive Secretary, National Health Insurance Scheme, member of the Northern Elders Forum, for your informed perspective on this existential problems. We hope to have you some other time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we